cannot settle for less. I am too beautiful to settle for any man. I will continue to wait for my Udogu. Only the Udogu deserves this beauty.
That was Achalugo's favorite line, her morning anthem, and her lifetime motto. Achalugo was a village lady who looked different from the other village maidens. She is not as beautiful as the others. In fact, the villagers called her the ugliest lady in the village. But Achalugo, on the other hand, felt she was as beautiful as the moon. What makes her different is the high taste and standard when it comes to choosing a man she wants to settle down with. Her mother, a poor widow, was trying so hard to talk to the village men about whether they could marry her daughter Achalugo. But with all the efforts her mother was making, Achalugo will always tell her mother, "Mama, stop wasting your time begging these village men to marry me. My Udogu will soon come and propose to me." Her mother will hiss and walk away. Every day, Achalugo will go to the village stream, adjusting her tight dress, twisting her waist, and fanning her face as though she were Miss Nigeria. Even though the only audience she had was goats and chickens passing by, Achalugo will walk to the village square, carrying herself as though she were the princess of the land. The village men, sitting at the palm wine joint, will laugh and make fun of her as she passes, sees Miss Universe passing. They will burst into laughter, but what they didn't know was that Achalugo never saw them as a class or men she would settle with. She will hear their insults, but she never cares. She carries herself with confidence that her Udogu will come one day. Every week, at least one brave man in the village would attempt to propose marriage to Achalugo after a lot of begging from Achalugo's mother. But one after another, she sent them home in shame. The first man, Okoro the hunter, came with 3 tubers of yam and a bottle of palm wine. He cleared his throat and said, "Achalugo, I have come to make you my wife." She looked at him from head to toe, hands on her waist. "Your body is smiling poverty," she said flatly. Okoro blinked. "Eh?" "Yes, your body is smiling poverty. Look at your shoes. Is it greeting me or the sun? I cannot marry a man whose body odor is greeting people." Then poor hunter carried his yam and left. The next morning, he was seen drinking palm wine under the mango tree, muttering with his friends, "See somebody I want help. Let her marry that her Udogu, let me see." The next suitor was Oche, the fisherman. He came wearing his best wrapper and holding a catfish in a calabash. "Achalugo," he said, smiling wide enough to show his front teeth. "I have been fishing for love, and I caught you." Achalugo stepped back dramatically and fanned her nose. "Stop talking. Your mouth stinks like yesterday's fish market. I cannot marry a man whose breath can chase away mosquitoes." Oche stood there, embarrassed, holding his fish. Even the fish looked disappointed. By the 3rd week, word had spread. Achalugo had standards reach the ears of the villagers. Everyone was talking about it. Some maidens said, "I pity the men proposing marriage to her. Between them and Achalugo, who will settle for who the other maiden muttered?" Even the village women at the market were talking about Achalugo. "Who will even marry that ugly thing? She's even lucky some men are interested in her," another woman added. Achalugo's mother didn't stop. She kept begging the men to marry her daughter. She knew age was no longer on her side. And because of Achalugo looks, it would be difficult for her to settle down. As a mother, she was worried, and she kept trying to talk to the men to marry her daughter Achalugo. The next day, Udogwu, the carpenter, tried to come as well. His friends begged him not to go. But Udogwu said, "She don't have a choice. She will accept me." He approached Achalugo with a flower he plucked from Mama Nkechi's fence. "Achalugo," he began nervously, "I know you are waiting for your Udogu, but maybe I can be the one." Achalugo crossed her arms, staring at his slippers. "Do you own a motorcycle?" Udogwu laughed awkwardly. "No, but I have a wheelbarrow." She gasped. looking genuinely offended. A wheelbarrow? So you want me to sit at the back while you push me around the village like fresh cassava? Abomination! At least own a motorcycle before I can even consider breathing near you. Ogbu left with shame. He couldn't face his friends after the rejection. By now, the entire village had concluded that Achalugo was under a special kind of spell, not the witchcraft type, but the type that makes people see things differently. Even the chief's wife once said, if pride was palm oil, Achalugo's head would fry plantain all by itself. But Achalugo didn't care. She continued to walk around with her head high, swinging her waist like a runway queen, saying loudly every morning, I cannot settle for less. I am too beautiful to settle for any man. Only the Udogu deserves this beauty. And the women at the stream would whisper behind her, my sister, which beauty? Which Udogu will settle for this ugly walking corpse? One evening, as the sun set over the hills, another man, Obina the palm wine tapper, approached her. He was kind, respectful, and humble. He didn't come because Achalugo's mother begged him. He loved her genuinely. He brought her coconuts and roasted corn, things she loved. He smiled and said softly, Achalugo, I may not be rich, but I have a good heart. Achalugo rolled her eyes. Good heart? Will your good heart buy me a car? Will your good heart build me a house? You are not my class. I am waiting for my Udogu, the man who will come in an SUV car, smelling like imported perfume. Obina sighed and left quietly. The villagers laughed and said, even Udogu himself will fear this one. Every man in the village eventually gave up. And Achalugo, she kept waiting, brushing her non-existent baby hairs in the mirror, repeating her favorite line like a prayer. I will wait for my Udogu. But as the moon rose that night, even the crickets seemed to whisper, Udogu, please don't come. That evening, her mother sat in front of her yard, lost in thoughts, holding a small mirror in her hand. She called her daughter, Achalugo, Achalugo, come here, I want to talk to you. She walked like a queen and sat beside her mother. My daughter, her mother said, I want you to take a look at this mirror. Look at yourself very well. You are not getting younger. You are not as beautiful as the other maidens. Achalugo collected the mirror from her mother and she looked at it and said, Mama, I don't know what you are saying. Can't you see this beauty I am seeing? I won't settle for less. I know my type of man. When he comes, I will settle down. Her mother interrupted her. Stop it, Achalugo, stop it. Which Udogu are you talking about? I have brought several men into this house and you chased them away. I am your mother, Achalugo. I won't lie to you. No rich man will want to marry a village girl with this your look. I want you to marry the palm wine tapper. He truly loves you and he will make a great husband to you. Achalugo didn't say a word. She stood up and went back to her hut. That night she couldn't sleep. The words of her mother cut deep in her mind. The next morning she woke up, bathed and did her makeup as usual, and she went to the village square. She sat under the shade of a big Iroko tree. She said, I will wait here. Any man who comes in a car in this village will see me first before anyone. I must bring my Udogu home and prove to my mother wrong. Weeks turned into months. Every evening, Achalugo continues to go to the village square to wait for her Udogu. She will sit under the big tree, adjusting her blouse and practicing her smile, waiting for her Udogu to appear like in Nollywood movies. And then one afternoon it happened. The air changed. The goats stopped bleating. Even the palm trees seemed to stand still. From a distance, a loud motorcycle engine echoed through the village. Brum, 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 brum! Achalugo jumped to her feet. She gasped dramatically, clutching her chest. It is him, she whispered. My Udogu has come. The motorcycle appeared. kicking dust everywhere like a scene from an action movie. The rider wore dark shades, a red shirt, and had one hand stylishly on the handle. The children shouted, "Udogu don't come! Udogu don't come!" The man parked in front of Achalugo, pulled off his shades slowly and said, "Hello, fine girl." Achalugo almost fainted. She smiled foolishly. Her inner voice screamed, "This is it! The moment the village will know I am not meant for ordinary men." "Good afternoon, sir," she said sweetly, blinking too much. The man smiled, revealing two missing teeth. "My name is Udogu, but people call me Udibens." Achalugo's eyes widened. "Udogu?" He nodded confidently. "Yes, original Udogu of Umuofia, exporter, importer." The villagers watching from afar started whispering, If Achalugo accepts this man, I am not the son of this land." Suddenly, Udogu brought out his phone. Actually, not a phone. It was a small touchlight phone with a cracked screen. But he held it with pride and shouted loudly so everyone could hear. "Hello, hello, put me through to Chikudi. Tell him I have found the queen of my empire." The call wasn't even connected. He was pressing the calculator app. Achalugo gasped. The villagers laughed quietly behind her. Mama Nkechi whispered, "See Udogu with a cracked torchlight phone." Udogu came close to her and looked deep into her eyes. "Achalugo," he said, "when I saw you, I knew you were not like other girls. You are internationally local, and I like local girls." He continued, "Marry me and I will take you to places." Achalugo frowned. "Udogu, let me ask you something. Do you own a car or a mansion in the city?" Udogu smiled. "No, I don't own a car. I don't own a house as well. I lived with my uncle in Onitsha. Even the motorcycle I am riding, my uncle bought it for me to use for Okada business." Achalugo asked, "You mean you don't own anything?" The man replied, "No, but I can take good care of you from the money I earn from my Okada business." Achalugo leaned slowly, looking at him from head to toe. "You mean I have been wasting my time with you all this time? I can't not marry a poverty-stinking man like you. Look at the phone you are using." Udogu laughed. "See somebody, I want help. With this your ugly-looking face like back of my grandmother's pot. I pity the man who will marry you." He drove off. The villagers burst into laughter. One man even fell off his chair shouting, "Udogu, come back, ooh, this one is Temu Udogu from TikTok version." Even with everyone laughing, Achalugo pretended to walk with her head high, even though her ego was bruised. She walked home with shame, wondering if the villagers were right and her Udogu would ever come for her. When Achalugo got home that evening, she walked straight to her room without greeting anybody. She removed her wig slowly, like a woman who had fought 10 emotional battles in one day. She sat on her bamboo bed and stared at her mirror. For the first time, her reflection didn't smile back at her. "Am I making the right choice by waiting for my Udogu?" she whispered. Her voice trembled a little. So many ladies waited and finally found their Udogu. Maybe mine is just stuck in traffic. She smiled weakly to herself, trying to believe it. Just then, the door creaked open. It was her mother, Mama Achalugo, holding a broom and shaking her head like a tired generator. "Keep waiting," Mama said sharply. "Keep waiting. Your mates are getting married one by one, and you are here, waiting for somebody you don't even know." "Mama, please," Achalugo said, folding her hands dramatically. "Udogu will come. He's just taking his time to prepare himself." Mama hissed so loudly that even the wall clock paused. "Prepare himself for what? To locate this on your face? You think marriage is fasting and prayer? My friend, Wake up! Achalugo gasped. Mama, you are mocking my beauty? Mama Achalugo dropped the broom and placed her hands on her waist. Which beauty? Achalugo, even if your Udogu uses binoculars, he will not find you with that attitude. You rejected good men in this village, men with farms, men with jobs, even the one who had a motorcycle. You said his body is smelling. Achalugo frowned and turned to her mirror again. Her reflection looked tired. Mama, she said quietly, you don't understand. My own man must be a real Udogu. The one who will buy me a car and a mansion and take me to Paris for a vacation. Mama burst out laughing. Sit there and be deceiving yourself. You'd better go and help me pound yams before the food burns. Achalugo sighed deeply and looked through the window. Outside, she could hear the sound of another wedding's drums, laughter and celebration. Another maiden had just found her husband. She folded her hands, talking to herself again. One day, it will be me. I will wear red lace, and my Udogu will come in a big SUV car. Mama rolled her eyes. Yes, maybe from heaven. Then she walked out, shaking her head and muttering, Udogu uko, down for drivani. Time moved like harmattan wind. The other maidens began to marry one by one. Okoro married Ngozi. Oche married Amarachi. Even Ogu, the wheelbarrow man, married a fine girl from the next village. She didn't care about motorcycles. She just wanted peace. Every Saturday, Achalugo dressed up and attended the weddings, pretending to be happy. When people asked, Achalugo, when will we attend yours? She would raise her chin and say proudly, mine will shake the village when my Udogu comes. But year after year, the only thing shaking was the mango tree beside her father's hut. Soon, Achalugo became the only maiden left in the village. Her friends now had children running around calling her Auntie Achalugo. Yet, every evening, she sat at the village square, wearing her best wrapper, adjusting her blouse, and gazing down the dusty road waiting. Children would run past her, shouting, Auntie, who are you waiting for? She would smile proudly and reply, My Udogu. They would giggle and whisper, Since we were born, Auntie Achalugo has been waiting for her Udogu. Many rainy seasons have passed. The village has changed. Even the tree she used to sit under has grown old and bent. But Achalugo is still there, same spot, same pose, same confidence. Whenever strangers pass through the village, they ask, Who is that woman sitting by the square with powder all over her face? The villagers just smile and say, That's Achalugo. She's still waiting for her Udogu. And every evening, as the sun sets, Achalugo whispers to herself, I cannot settle for less. Only the Udogu deserves this beauty. The wind blows through the empty square, and even the wind seems to sigh. Udogu, please, she's still waiting. Till today, Achalugo is still waiting for her Udogu.